talk outside? Yes. Okay.
Just wait for 2 minutes.
Maybe we should just start.
What's up, everyone? Yeah, hey guys. So thanks for being this amazing event. So this is Leon. I was working for Avalanche before, and I've been involved so many AI. I mean, kind of main infrastructure, also kind of AI projects before. Right now, I'm building the kind of DeFi protocol, BNB chain, still building TVO. So very happy to be here, and very happy to see so many wonderful guests here to share with us their insights, their kind of future insights about this industry and about the projects they are doing. So let's have one round of brief introduction from one by one. Maybe we start from Andreoli.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, guys. Francesco, I'm leading developer relation at Consensus. That's the umbrella company of MetaMask, Infure, and Linea. And I'm very excited about to be here to speak about scaling and much more.
Hey guys, this is Nick, Singapore country lead for Base. So Base is the largest L2 on Ethereum right now. Working with the super chain, optimism, scale users, and scale transactions. I'm probably the least technical on the panel. I'm definitely and a CTO right here. So maybe I can share a bit about how Base thinks about bringing the next billion users on chain and working with like the super chain in general.
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, so my name is Andrew and I'm the CTO of the House Network. It's a layer 2 ZK rollup. Yeah, we right now on the testnet, but I think that we will launch our mainnet pretty soon, even sooner than our community expects. And we built our ZK rollup to provide this, unified liquidity, how we call it. So we really try to integrate and aggregate liquidity across many DeFi strategies. And we also try to simplify the process. We call it, like a granny filter, that even granny should be able to use our solution. So we really need to simplify it. So for this, we use an account abstraction, like some other solutions that we will talk today. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Amazing. Okay, great. I think such a pity we don't have the Mr. Block, so which is also our good friends. But I think next time there will be Mr. coming. They will have more shows to share with you guys. So let's get started. For this event, the topic here is about the scaling, right? Scaling. I think scaling is a very interesting or amazing world in our industry. We can talk about scaling the users. We can talk about scaling the liquidity. We can also talking about the scaling the innovation for the future roadmap. So in terms of this topic, so I want to ask you guys about the topic around chain abstraction or about the AA or cross-chain solutions. So we do know that the AG layer, so this is a unified ultimate user layer. So what is the single biggest technical challenge for you guys, like for the sequencer digitalization or cross-chain messaging? Yeah, maybe this question can start from AG layer.
Yeah. So guys, do you know something about Ethereum? No? No, I think I'm an evangelist of this solution, so I can briefly highlight some information about it. So let's start from me. So Aglair is a product of Polygon Labs, and what these guys basically do, so they create a unified layer that allow everyone to submit a transaction from one chain and another chain. So we can think that all the liquidity on all the connected chains in an AG layer is available from any connected chain. So it means that, for example, we connect with Waves, as an example, once, and it will be, I'm pretty sure, soon. And then it means that from any chain we can trigger transaction in any connected chains and use this liquidity for like a DeFi or whatever. Yeah. So, and I think it's a pretty powerful solution. So right now, all like TVL of all connected chains to the Aglair is $800 million, so that's pretty big, yeah. So if you're from your chain, can do something with such liquidity. So I think it's powerful.
I'm definitely very excited about stuff also like from Rhinestone, all these kind of like Omni accounts, right? On the account abstraction layer, right? I think like, user cannot touch multiple networks, so I'm definitely very, excited about everything around that layer, obviously, but in general, like, where users should not touch gas fee, so also like having kind of like DApp sponsoring transaction, multi-accounts, omni-accounts, I think that's very interesting. And unify, I think, like solutions, right? For example, in MetaMask, we unified region swaps. I mean, right now, without actually speaking to our own echo chamber, people don't run around kind of like be touching, like, is this a breach, is this a swap, right? I just want to kind of like swap and automatically doing your own transaction. My only kind of concern is that, like I have right now a lot of dApps, smart accounts everywhere. You need to found them, so there is also like a level of fragmentation that is happening in the ecosystem.
Yes, sorry, like I just wanted to press it because you're totally right, and I recognize that maybe a few months ago the MetaMask added like a smart account option, but it's available just in the chains that support this package update. Yeah, so it's just the technology gaps between different chains, and it's also one more reason, to have something unified. So in the case of Aglair, it means that with your account abstraction on one chain, you can trigger transaction across all the chains without, and that means that you have to have some abstract account on the each chain. So I think it's also like a part of the solution.
I agree. I think also very important is, every kind of like users coming into the space have different option and different journey. So I think like, not forcing, to upgrade to smart accounts, it's also like one important path, right? We see different experiences, different use case, people interacting only on, I don't know, DFI, or like they just want to do DeFi stuff, but they want to just, create their economy specifically. So kind of like this journey is different for everyone, right? But I think like what we don't want to do is like kind of like forcing, smart account upgrades to people, or kind of like giving also this decision. I think is important, and it's very aligned to kind of like, the value that this ecosystem has been imprinting since the start.
Great. Do you want to add on something?
Yeah, I think this summarizing it is broadly categorized into two problems. Right? One is liquidity fragmentation, which Andrew just mentioned, and that's something that Aglair solves. And also UX fragmentation, right? Because across like multiple chains, you have multiple wallets, and so something that Base is trying to do, in addition to opening bridges, so we just opened our Solana Base bridge recently, is also trying to aggregate all of these experiences into a single like super app, and that's what we call the Base app. So that's where all experiences converge, and we are working very hard on account abstraction. So in the Base app, you have the Base account like SDK. There are no like private keys. It's all Base ID. It's all pass keys. To get featured in the Base app, you can't have anything like Connect Wallet. No mention of crypto. So we are taking away all that Web3 native jargon. So that's something that we are working hard on in terms of like UX being a seamless way to experience on chain. I think in the past, like rollups have always been about scaling, right? But now the competition has moved towards like scaling is a given, right? But how do you kind of like bring that seamless UX experience to new users? And that's I think where a lot of the rollups are like competing on right now.
Yeah, I think also the biggest use case right now on the builder side is intent-based and aggregation-based use case, right? Obviously, we need to create new experiences, and I think like the majority of way that you can do is delegating rights and permission to do something. So I think on the DevRel side, or in general like the developer offering, need to be specific on enabling also builder to define those permissions and delegation. I'm very excited that one of and it's very aligned also on what Base you guys also ship the 402, and we're part of the group of the 8004 trustless agent part, and we have also a specific kind of developer tooling called delegation toolkit. So you can actually build delegation to any use case, right? And I think this is also like the way for user to not touch specific kind of action. Is also one part of the game. So you want to enable builders to building specific kind of like delegation and permissions. For example, smart account, guardian recoveries, gas fee abstraction, network fee. I think even Aglair is using delegation toolkit for specific like use case.
can talk about it. So in reality, if we are talking about like an account abstraction, so what we actually use in the vast part of the account abstraction is a session key, yeah? And it normally that you just provide specific access to do it, like just this one on the predefined sum, nothing more, and you can spend more, so it's not sharing like a private keys, yeah, it's just sharing the possibility to do one specific stuff, yeah? But the question is who you delegate this, yeah? And we have an answer because we right now working on AI agent to create this, limited DeFi strategies. So you can say, okay, so if the price of ETH will touch like a 10,000 of USDT, sell half of my Ethereum across all the connected chains, then select the one with that performs in a better way with our integration or some superform or some other rules, doesn't matter in this case, yeah, and provide the rest of my ETH into this DeFi protocol, and provide the rest USDT as an example, yeah, also as a liquidity. And the AI agent in this case will be able to do just specifically what you're described in a text format or in a voice command, but possible just because of the account abstraction and this session keys.
Okay, great. I think all of these three guests have already shared so many amazing ideas. Just on wrap up. So we talk about scaling, we talk about account abstraction. So there will be three key points or three key problems we need to solve. Because right now, so our people when they come back from to join crypto, it's not easy for them to cross from one chain to another chain. It's called a message cross chain or something. Then another thing is about the gateway, right? So AA can help you solve that. And right now, I mean, zoom back to our guests. You can see we got MetaMask here. I think everybody here should got your MetaMask, right? That's your first kind of wallet. They also got Base here. It's a super chain. I mean, it's truly on the hype. It's truly everybody heard about it. And we got a new start project called Hot Network. So I'm truly excited about the next topic we're gonna be talking about. So let's have deeper. So we're just talking about account abstraction. So what's the best benefits or what's the challenge behind this kind of technology for right now? Kind of so many applications. Maybe this kind of question can start from Nick. Yeah.
I mean, account abstraction really, at least from the base standpoint, we are an L2 on top of Ethereum, right? So we have like sub-second transaction speed. So it's really about, from our perspective, working with other L2s as well, building on super chain, such that we can scale throughput by aligning on proofs, governance, and tooling, right? While still benefiting from like security guarantees from Ethereum. Right? So I think that's really why Base is really committing to the super chain, and I think we have been working very closely with the Optimism team to upgrade infrastructure.
Yeah, I think you're asking about challenges. I think one of my kind of like personal challenges that there's kind of like my own smart account fragmentation. Right now, every dApps is obviously try to facilitate their user journey. So we have so many islands of dApps with smart accounts that you need to actually fund, you need to actually engage. And I think we will have we were speaking since 2 years now about layer 2 fragmentation, and I think the next big topic will be actually this smart account fragmentation, because right now we are actually segregating even more ecosystem of dApps, and how we solve that is obviously stuff like omni accounts, agents, rebalancing use case. I think session keys is definitely a big part of the game. I really like to be. I mean, I'm not a fan of vaults. That's why kind of a session key are so powerful, because you always you can actually go to your multisig and see what the agent actually does, and you can recover. But yeah, building this island is definitely a big challenge, and it's tricky because the only way that I see this kind of playing is that. We need to build more standards and having some kind of specs that are mandatory for basically people to adopt, right? On the trustless agent side, AZ004 is trying to solve that, but it's also a very specific use case, right? Because people, even when this will be adopted, people still need to actually like give permissions to the agent to rebalance between all the smart accounts. All the dApps need to actually like support this standard. But I mean, it happens already with the entire NFT wave, right? There was a moment that you could not move from Rarible to OpenSea because NFTRC was not compatible. And then people will start to say, oh wait, every kind of like market had different standards. So this is coming, right? And I think like it's already like huge for people not touch like the underground infrastructure and dealing only with smart accounts. But I also like want to make sure that this space is not moving in just verticalized scaling because it's also it's dividing even more the journey, right?
I just wanted to proceed to your idea about the fragmentalization of the chains and technologies, because like some of the chains will already support like a patch update or at least the smart account functions, Someone who are like under development right now, like prepared for the next step, But in most of the chains that exist right now, never will implement this. So it even will. So it's really like account fragmentalization because you have one account with one address under your like EU address, external owned account, and you create a different account abstraction on top of the one address, but it doesn't make any sense. Absolutely, It's why we decide when we create our mobile application, we decide to integrate just the most relevant chains, let's say, who already and provide the same user experience, So users shouldn't think that, okay, our balance right now on this chain, and I have something on this, and the rest are there, So they should work with, really one balance across all the chains, and when they wanted to send something, they just say, okay, I wanted to deliver this value to this address, and I don't care where my liquidity right now, So if you ask someone how to use a Gmail, I'm pretty sure that less than 1% will like describe it from the technical standpoint, but in like a crypto space, everyone should know how it works, just to operate with it. It's absolutely a terrible like user experience, and I think that the answer, it can't be just an easy answer how to solve it, So we need to integrate an account abstraction, standardize it, and also like use some AI agents that will help you to understand what's actually going on and how to interact with all of it, So it's like our vision.
Yeah, and everything starts from developers, right? And
developers.
And what we're doing here is we're seeing also Electric Capital, 22,000 developers, 80% on Solidity, a lot of Rust developer coming from the Web2 space. And we see also like right now a lot of kind of like developers in different islands coming kind of like runs farming from one ecosystem to another. So it's also very interesting what is happening because you need to unify these experiences. If not, you will actually get much more fragmentation. And builders jumping from ecosystem to another is not super healthy because we need to have a sustainable growth in terms of also dApps development. There is a lot of things. And the question is also whose responsibility is that, right? I think part of the responsibility is also on the wallet side, because obviously like wallets are the door to everything Web3 for users. So there is a level of abstraction there, and there is a level of like, kind of like you're like pushing like those standards. But at the end is also like, we are a bit kind of like shooting ourselves in the foot when we're speaking so much around the protocol upgrades instead actually like to actually dApps developer. If you're coming from the Web2 world, like you're not actually like, touching a lot the DevOps around AWS. You're actually go directly in that like, the development, interface development, right? And I think we should also like move a lot, and a lot of builders are accustomed to that. They want to have anything to do with actually the protocol upgrades. They want to actually speak about, more about UIs and dApps development journey. So.
Great. I think very thanks for the technical sharing. So from my understanding, I think I will just take one very simple example for you guys to understand the benefits. So finance is like a water, right? So water can flow here, flow there. So now we got maybe 10 pipelines, so it's just like 10 chains. To the very fundamental layer, so the liquidity is limited. The BTC, the stablecoin, before they come from Web2, so they are limited. So what AA does, what we can achieve is that we got this wallet, so this chain's liquidity can be merged together or can be from here to there. So that's one very big benefits. Because once you upgrade all the liquidity, there are so many things you guys can leverage. So that's one example for the finance liquidity. But when we're talking about the user liquidity, there will be far more picture or dreams we can expect in the future. So that's for this question. Let's jump deeper. And another big topic we are talking about today is called a modular. So because we also know from building the blockchain, this cannot be simply from 0 to 1. So there should be some components to be together or together to build more super apps. So let's talking about a modular ecosystem. And for this question, I think we also want to talk about the strategies, also about security, also about the future kind of ambitions about the modular, no matter for the modular components or for modular functions. So this question is maybe we can start from Andrew, talking about the future about modular ecosystem. Yeah.
If we're talking about some standardizing, it's much easier to standardize something in the case it's modular. So if we have like a if we have a special term like modular account abstraction, it specifically means that you can, without changing your address, you can add new features like social recovery or some this session key that you can like just provide to somebody. You can create your multi-sig wallet or whatever, and so it's about like a modular part. It's if we are talking about account abstraction. If we are talking about chains, it's the same. So you mentioned previously that we should have like a messenger, we should have a bridge, like we should have an layer in the best way, in the best case scenario. But in general, it means that just adding new components and switching between it, so we can easily standardize something even that already exists, in this case. And for example, if my expectation and use case for my chain this one, and I need to have like just a standard model that approved and also used by some other chains that also connect to mine somehow, it actually means that it might be easier to like chain-to-chain communication, because together we can like really improve the user experience, update the wallets, user experience as well, because like as I said, like a granny feature, like granny just should say, I wanted to send like $100 to my son, or and then like agent should help her to prepare transaction. And definitely, she don't need to think about like the source of this funds or whatever. So the modularity in general is an answer. And we can discuss about sequencer and how to centralize this. But at the end of the day, like we should improve the user experience. The user don't know what really like a sequencer is and how it works. And it's the good news here is that we're on the way. I think like we're really moving in the right direction because Ethereum provides like some general ideas like a backdrop upgrades, and even all the other chains also call it ETH, that means like Ethereum improvements proposals, so it's the same for all the chains. But bad news here that it's also like we have to make we need to duplicate the work. Like one chain updated, okay, we should go to the next, update this, and this and this. So it's I think it's like bad things. But with modularity, we can easily just share our technologies across all the chains. So it's only one possible way, I think.
Thanks so much. You want to add something?
On the wallet side, I mean, MetaMask has been pioneering a lot of kind of like permissionless innovation, engaging much more with the community. A couple of years ago, we brought kind of like snaps, MetaMask snaps, so extending the functionality of what the wallet. So basically, like everyone can build extension of what the wallet does, from like non-EVM compatible snaps to security snaps to social identity, social reputation snaps. So there is a lot of kind of work being done there. Obviously, going multi-chain natively is also like one important part to kind of like enhance these experiences. The question again is also like responsibility-wise, right? Because I don't think like all the layer 2s will adopt the same standards all the time, right? The question is also like same. I mean, I'm a big fan of what Drake and the EF is pushing on the Ethereum side. Like also like security specific, also like how we are enhancing also like those standards and enforcing those standards on the layer 1 side. I think that's also like part of the game. But at the end, like I also like feel, especially this cycle, that we need to compromise and finding trade-offs, right? I've been a big advocate around decentralization from the start, but I also feel this wave, a lot of institutional feedbacks are also like, like finding kind of like ways that they want trade-offs. Here we are, right? We need to force ourselves. I think this speed is not fast enough to get more kind of like user in the ecosystem. We see already this cycle, and I'm super happy to see more institutional, the treasury coming up, and I think that's very good for general adoption because it will provide finally even like very low DeFi, what Vitalik is saying, to actually like TradFi users through kind of like common stock dividends. So I think this is very powerful. But we are also like building islands in the same time, right? And but things are moving forward. Yeah.
I think in terms of like modularity, the way Base thinks about it is in terms of whether the same tooling that builders use on Base can be used by other chains in the superchain. So for example, the way what we're working on is, for example, in terms of account abstraction, Base accounts. Right, so in Base accounts, and that SDK is built very modularly where there are different functions you can call to achieve like account abstraction. Other than Base accounts, we have on-chain kit, agent kit, where people can just plug in, give agents access to base names, access to wallets, very, very easily. And I think the goal is to open access to these SDKs so that all developers can just get on board very, very easily. And hopefully other chains on the super chain can do so as well.
X402 is very cool. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for all the sharing. So we talk about the modularity. It's like, so before the kind of modular things happen, so if you want to build products, you need to build from 0 to 1, your chains, your kind of scaling system, your lab, your sequencer. But right now, I think in this market, there are so many projects or infrastructure providers doing this. So that's why they can make our products to be easy built. But I think as time goes by, there are so many things we can expect. Okay, let's jump to our final question. So this is about the looking forward about future. So very quick question. Crypto is decentralized, but I think centralized change is centralized. So how to balance the two things, and what kind of innovation can we expect to bring the world to be much more decentralized? Maybe this question will start from from Andrew. Yeah.
So I think like the next future is agent-to-agent payments, on chain, and it's also like a pretty like cool use case for the account abstraction. Yeah, in general, that if, for example, we allow agent to do something on chain, so provide this like session key, but the developers also wanna to get some salary, let's say. It actually means that the agent that's created also should be incentivized somehow, to support its infrastructure or whatever. Yeah, and that in general it means that one agent can trigger with account abstraction can trigger another agent, and user will be able to provide like the session key to the specific one or to the major one and all the connected to it. Yeah. So my expectation is that in the near future we will see more and more use case with like agents, and even doesn't mean that each agent should be on chain, but they should have like like on-chain representative. Yeah, so each agent should have an account abstraction and like interact with each other somehow. It's my vision about future, and it's also like a compromise between centralized and decentralized solution, because we can create a decentralized agent and blah blah blah. But if the centralized perform better, so easier just to integrate it and add some like account abstraction functionality to it, rather than trying to create fully decentralized AI, let's say.
Okay, so first takeaway. Account abstraction makes AI agent payments much easier. The first takeaway. About you,
Yeah, I mean, eventually you will. I mean, you need to satisfy different experiences, right? People will still onboard and leverage central exchanges, so there is no way to go back. And users are searching for rewards, revenue. So I mean, I I assume in the future, people, it's always, the journey is always the same. You start from like centralized exchanges, then you get starting to get exposed to like kind of like decentralized finance. Look at Habe, what is happening, right? And I think in the future you will start to see more appetite for kind of like DeFi infrastructure because you have higher yields that will be attracted with like agent rebalancing. You have a lot of like different things that will be leveraged by centralized exchange at the same time and probably rebranded and kind of like rebuilt directly. So so eventually like you will have people going on DEXs, but the experiences will not. You will still have people that are happy not being self-custodial. So that's it.
Okay, great. Nick, yeah, but very quick.
Yeah, I think it shows a lot about us on these panels focusing a lot of time on experiences in UX when a couple of years ago we were explaining what optimistic or ZK rollouts are, right? So I think the industry has come to a stage where it's mature enough that eventually to solve fragmentation, it's not a matter of users need to not even think that they're on chain, right? Like now, when an app is not on the internet, you think, hey, why is the app not on the internet, right? But you don't really think that it has to be on the internet, right? So I think on chain eventually will reach that stage where everything's going to be on chain. That's in line with what Base is trying to do, bring the world on chain. And then you start to question, only if something is not on chain, then that's an issue, right? So something that like Base has been doing is also constantly trying to bridge the centralized world with the decentralized world. For example, we recently enabled all Coinbase users in the US to access DEX liquidity, right? DEX books. And that's seamless because users there don't even know that they may be transacting on chain. So that's kind of like the on-chain world we are working with.
Okay, thanks for the sharing. So three very important takeaways for this panel. So agent payments from AA empowering and on-chain future, also the DeFi infinity. So that's all for this panel. And thanks for the scaling and thanks for the night hosting this amazing event. Thank you guys.